In the Grand Kingdom of Eldoria, ruled by the iron-fisted King Theron, a royal crisis was brewing. The king had two children, the heir apparent, Prince Alaric, and the younger, often overlooked Princess Lyra. Alaric was known for his charisma and swordsmanship, while Lyra possessed a quiet strength and a keen intellect, spending her days devouring books on strategy and governance in the royal library. King Theron,
nearing the end of his reign, had arranged a powerful alliance through marriage.
Prince Alaric was to marry Princess Isolde from the neighboring kingdom of Viridia. This union was not just a matter of love. It was a strategic move to secure Eldoria's borders and counter the growing threat from the ruthless Northern Warlords. The entire kingdom was preparing for the grand wedding, a celebration meant to usher in an era of peace and prosperity. However, Prince Alaric harbored a secret. He was deeply in love with Lyra, a gifted healer from a humble village. Their love was a forbidden flame, one that burned brightly in the shadows, away from the prying eyes of the court. Alaric was torn between his duty to his kingdom and the call of his heart. The weight of the crown felt heavier each day, the prospect of a loveless marriage a cold iron shackle on his soul. On the eve of the royal announcement, Alaric made a choice that would send shockwaves through the entire kingdom. He met his father in the throne room, the air thick with tension. "Father," he began, his voice trembling but resolute, "I cannot marry Princess Isolde. My heart belongs to another." King Theron's face, usually a mask of stoic control, contorted with rage. He saw his son's decision not as a matter of love, but as an act of betrayal. "You fool!" the king roared, his voice echoing off the stone walls. "You would sacrifice the safety of our people for your own selfish desires. You are no son of mine." In a fit of fury, King Theron disinherited Alaric on the spot, banishing him from the capital city of Eldoria and stripping him of all titles. The news spread like wildfire, plunging the court into chaos and leaving the alliance with Viridia in tatters. The warlords to the north, hearing of the internal strife, saw their opportunity and began to mobilize their forces, their shadows looming ever closer to Eldoria's borders. The kingdom was on the brink of collapse, its future hanging by a thread. Amid the turmoil, a figure emerged from the shadows of the library. Princess Lyra, who had watched the unfolding drama with a heavy heart, stepped forward. She had spent years studying the art of war, diplomacy, and the history of her land. While Alaric had trained with a sword, she had trained her mind. She understood the gravity of the situation far better than most. Lyra went before her furious father. The court watched, breathless, expecting another royal outburst. But Lyra did not plead or argue. She presented a plan. "Father," she said, her voice clear and steady, "the alliance with Viridia is crucial. Our kingdom is in peril." "Let me go in Alaric's place," the court gasped. A princess leading a diplomatic mission of this magnitude was unheard of. King Theron looked at his daughter, truly seeing her for the first time. He saw not a delicate princess, but a leader with fire in her eyes and steel in her voice. He saw the same resolve that had once defined his own youth. Desperate, and with no other options, he agreed. Lyra's journey to Viridia was fraught with danger. Spies from the Northern Warlords lurked in the forests, and assassins lay in wait. But Lyra was prepared. Using her knowledge of terrain and tactics, she outsmarted her pursuers at every turn, proving that a sharp mind could be as deadly as any blade. Her royal guards, initially skeptical, grew to respect her command and ingenuity. When she arrived in Viridia, she was met with a cold reception. King Olen of Viridia and his daughter, Princess Isolde, were insulted by Alaric's rejection. They saw Lyra's arrival as a desperate, last-ditch effort from a failing kingdom. But Lyra did not come bearing apologies. She came bearing a proposition. In the Grand Hall of Viridia, Lyra addressed the court. "I understand your anger," she began, her gaze meeting King Olen's. "But our true enemy is not each other. The Northern Warlords threaten to engulf us all. Eldoria does not offer you just a marriage. We offer you a true partnership, an alliance forged not just in ceremony, but on the battlefield." She then unrolled maps and laid out a brilliant military strategy. A joint defense plan that would not only protect their borders, but push the warlords back for good. Her knowledge of their enemy was encyclopedic. Her plans, meticulous. Princess Isolde, far from being a passive pawn in this political game, was a formidable warrior in her own right. She was impressed by Lyra's courage and strategic mind. She saw a kindred spirit,
A fellow woman of strength in a world dominated by men.
Isolde spoke up, supporting Lyra's plan and urging her father to see the wisdom in it. An alliance between two strong princesses, she argued, could be more powerful than any traditional marriage pact. A new bond was formed, one of mutual respect and shared purpose between Lyra and Isolde. Meanwhile, back in Eldoria, King Theron received reports of Lyra's successes. His pride in his daughter swelled, mixed with a tinge of regret for having overlooked her for so long. He began to see that true leadership wasn't about birthright or gender, but about courage, intelligence, and the will to act. Word of the new alliance between Eldoria and Viridia reached the Northern Warlords, who were taken by surprise. They had expected Eldoria to crumble from within. Instead, it had emerged stronger. Their planned invasion was now a much more dangerous gamble. As Lyra journeyed back to Eldoria, she was no longer just a princess. She was a diplomat, a strategist, and a savior. She arrived not to a quiet welcome, but to the thunderous cheers of her people. They saw in her a new kind of ruler, one who led with wisdom and bravery. King Theron stood on the castle steps, his face filled with pride. He publicly reinstated Lyra, not as a mere princess, but as the new heir to the throne of Eldoria. Her first act as heir was to prepare for war. Working alongside Princess Isolde, they combined their armies and implemented their shared strategy.
When the Northern Warlords finally launched their attack,
They were met not by a fractured kingdom, but by a unified force led by two brilliant female commanders. Lyra, directing troops from the command tent, used her strategic genius to anticipate the enemy's every move, while Isolde led charges on the front lines, her sword a blur of silver. The battle was fierce, but the joint forces of Eldoria and Viridia were victorious. The warlords were decisively defeated, their threat neutralized for a generation. Peace was restored, but Eldoria was forever changed. Prince Alaric, living a simple but happy life with Alara, sent his sister a letter expressing his pride and gratitude. He had found his own kingdom in love and peace, and he knew Eldoria was in better hands. Princess Lyra, now Queen Lyra, ruled with wisdom and compassion. Her reign marked the beginning of a golden age for Eldoria, an era defined by progress, equality, and a powerful, enduring alliance with Viridia, built on the mutual respect of two extraordinary queens. Lyra proved that a crown is earned not by birth, but by action, and that the greatest strength can be found where you least expect it. The story of the overlooked princess who saved her kingdom became a legend, a timeless tale of courage, intelligence, and the rise of a true queen. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this story of courage and unexpected heroism, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more epic dailies from history and legend. We'll see you in the next video.